and today I'm going to be doing a story time. Well, before we get this started, I do not condone violence, but unless it's self-defense, then that's a different story. But I'm going to be doing a story time on the time I got into a fight with my ex. All right. Okay, so let's just get into it. So we were together for, I want to say, 4 years on and off. Very toxic, very toxic. And it was one of those phases where we were like, oh, we're friends or whatever, but we were still having sex on the side. So the way this started, she gets invited to a party of some girl and this girl used to try to get with her when we were together or whatever the case is. So I didn't like the girl, but this was like the third or the fourth time that we said we were going to be friends and we were still messing around at the same time. So at this point, I was already like finally checked out of the relationship. Like I said I was going to be a friend or whatever, but who am I to deny a little good? But that was the toxic part of me. So I told myself that I was going to be her friend or whatever the case is and, still mess with her, whatever, because I got this. And I did. So she was like, oh, if you feel some type of way, just say that. Like, kept insisting that I was upset about the situation. And I wasn't. So I was just like, but I'm not. So at that point, I'm just like, we're friends or whatever. So I used to come back home after. I didn't used to stay there or whatever the case is. Not as long as I used to before. So I was back home and I was like, oh, well, that's fine or whatever. We gonna chill another day. So I was talking to a couple of people at that point in time, and I was talking to this one guy in particular. We're gonna call him Doofus, because that's what he is. So Doofus at the time was making me feel like, all good inside, all the butterflies and lies. And that's what I had him stored in my phone at the time. So I feel bad for saying this, but in a way, talking to Doofus, it like helped me really, really place my toxic ex, we're going to call her Linda, in the past. So talking to him or whatever. So long story short, we was going to link or whatever. So I told her that I needed my stuff back or whatever. And if I can get my stuff back today. So because I knew I was going to link with him the Wednesday, and this was, who cares? This was on a weekend or towards the weekend that I told her that I needed my stuff back. So I was like, I need my stuff back, whatever the case is. I'm about to link with somebody. So I guess for me telling her that I'm going to link with someone, she felt some type of way or whatever the case is, which is fair enough or whatever. But if you're saying we're friends, you shouldn't feel no type of way. Just give me my stuff back. So she had a couple of things at my crib based off of, we wear the same size or whatever the case is. So I had them on and they were here. So she goes on this rampage saying, oh, I'm not going to get my stuff back until she gets her stuff back. So I'm like, bro, you're not dead ass. Like, it's not that deep. Like, you're being petty. I want my stuff back because I'm actually going to do something with it. And you're just saying you want your stuff back because you think that this is, me being petty. Sorry, y'all. Somebody was calling me. So let's hop back into it. So she's thinking that I'm asking for my stuff back to be petty, and I'm not. Like, I told you several times that we're friends this time for real. Like, I'm not saying we're friends and I'm still feeling some type of way where you dating other people, which in retrospect, that's all right because we were together for a long time and the bond, even though it became toxic, it was really, to me personally, I thought it was genuine. So she's like, oh, I'm not getting my stuff back till she gets her stuff back. And I'm just like, you're not being dead ass or whatever. So she's like, oh, then it goes from that to, oh, I'm at work right now. How you expect me to get your stuff back or whatever the case is? So I'm just like, I can meet you and I can get my stuff back. She was like, oh, she not doing all of that. Da 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 da. Okay. Okay. So, several text messages are being sent back and forth at this point. And you're in work and yet still you're replying to me, but I can't get my stuff back. So I start calling her or whatever the case is, and she answers and she's like, oh, she's on work or whatever. And I'm just like, all right, well, where I live at is not far from where she works at or worked at. I don't care. I don't know. And I was like, well, I'm about to come get my stuff or whatever. So fast forward or whatever from all of the calls and the text messages, she calls me back and I didn't answer because I'm just like, when I was calling you, should have answered. Like, I'm not doing this. Like, at this point, you can keep my shit. I'm about to go buy new shit. So she sees that I'm not answering or whatever. So she sends me a text message and she's like, oh, she called her dad and she told her dad to bring my stuff to her job and I can come get my stuff. So I said, nah, hold that. I'm about to go buy my new stuff. So after that, I was like, nah, fuck it. I ain't going through all of that shit to, not get my shit. So stay tuned because I still didn't get my shit. Anyway, so she tells me to come get my shit or whatever the case is or whatever. So then she changed her mind and then said, oh, since you don't want to get it or whatever, I was down by your house and since you didn't want to answer, you're not going to get your shit back. And then I was like, that's mad childish because how you was down by my house and you ain't call or whatever the case is. And when I was calling you, you had me blocked. Like, how you going to come to my crib to bring my stuff, but you had me blocked when I was calling you? So I called her back with my number private and I'm just like, where's my stuff? You said you was here. Where's my stuff? Oh, she went from saying that it was in the mailbox to then she threw it in a trash can or whatever. So now at this point I'm heated because I'm just like, I know you didn't just throw my shit in the trash can. So I come back upstairs because I went to check my porch to see if she put it in like my mailbox or whatever. So I come back upstairs, I get dressed, and I had just, mind you, when all of this was happening, I was putting on my little wig because I had my first day at work literally the next day. So I come back upstairs. I put on my sweatsuit because it's cold at this time. Put on my sweatsuit, my Crocs. My hair is done. So I'm leaving it out. I'm like, all right, I'm going to let it finish dry on my walk up there. So I get to walking up there or whatever. And I'm texting her. I'm calling her, sending me the voicemail, sending me the voicemail. So I was like, all right, you don't want to give me my stuff? I'm going to come and get my stuff. So I pulled up to where she was working at. And I was like, I waited like a little creep. And in retrospect, I regret everything I did that day because it was like, when you look back at stuff like that, it's like, people really don't deserve the time and the energy that you be given. Like, and at the end of the day, like, what the fuck? Excuse my language, but no, never again. So she eventually comes outside of work and then I'm like, oh, can I get my stuff back? Oh, no, you're not getting your stuff back till I get my stuff. Matter of fact, where is my stuff? I'm just like, girl, like, you really think I'm being petty, but I'm not being petty. I actually want my stuff because I'm going somewhere on Wednesday. And she was like, oh, well, I don't care. I don't care. Now you got somewhere to go. Now you get somewhere to go. And in my mind, I'm just like, what the fuck? But okay. So she starts to walk away and I'm following her like a dumbass at the time. Like, oh, give me my stuff. Where's my stuff? I just need my stuff. And then all of this shit is over. Like, you really thinking that I have an attitude over some girl that is irrelevant? And I really want my stuff. So, oh, you know, you really don't want your stuff. You're just mad that I'm going out. Da 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 da. And I'm just like, bro, I don't give a fuck. She's like, oh, you don't give a fuck. You never give a fuck. At this point, are you mad that I want my stuff, or are you mad that I don't give a fuck, or are you mad that you think I have an attitude about somebody that's irrelevant? So we're like 2 feet away from the deli, and I'm just like, can I get my stuff? And then she was like, no. Matter of fact, I don't have nothing that belongs to you. There goes the strike one. The flip. The switch has flipped. So she goes in the deli, talking about some, leave me alone. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. I'm like, I don't want to talk either. I just want my stuff. Like you said, your dad bought your stuff. Where's my stuff? So I don't even remember. Like, it was just a bunch of back and forth. And I just know 1, 2, 3. She pulled my motherfucking wig off my head. And I'm standing in there looking like, what's her fucking name from Set It Off? Queen Latifah's character in Set It Off. And I'm just like, I'm in awe, because I'm like, I know this bitch didn't just pull my wig off my head. And I just installed this shit my damn self. Like, I'm now teaching myself how to install my own wigs on my head. And this bitch just pulled my wig off my fucking head. So, like I said, I'm standing there in shock. Wig on the floor. Braids straight back. Glue on my forehead. And I'm like, did you just pull my wig off? And with all that, the lights went out in my head. The lights went out in my head. Do I regret it? Of course I do, because I don't condone violence. But it's like, don't ever let somebody get you to the point where they can control you putting your hands on them, if you get what I'm saying. So anyway, I'm getting too much off topic. So I'm like, did you just pull my wig off my head? So I'm just like, the fuck? So I picked my wig up from the floor, because my wig is good. Like, I spent good money on that shit, and that shit just got good coloring. So I picked my shit up off the floor, and I put it in my motherfucking... I put my shit in my damn pocket. My sweatshirt pocket. Because my jacket was open. So I'm like, bitch. So I grab her by her hair. And I'm like, you pull my fucking wig off my hair, so I'm going to pull your wig off her hair. So I'm pulling her hair. And then she starts to swing. So after she swings at me, I just hit her head across on the refrigerator. Because you know in the delis they have the open refrigerators, and they have like the cans of Nutriments and different orange juice, and sometimes they might have fruits or vegetables in them or whatever. So then all that shit start falling down. The guy behind the counter is like, miss, please don't do this. Please don't do this. I'm like, no, she shouldn't have put my wig off my head. She shouldn't have put my wig off my head. So at this point, when I hit her against the fridge and everything is start falling, I don't know if she hit me. I don't know if the cans hit me. Like I told you, the lights went out in my head. So I just felt something hit me right here on my head. So I'm like, what the fuck? So then I threw her on the floor, and I got on top of her, and I started... The way I was on top of her, I had her hands on the side of her, and my legs were over her hands and over her body. So I was punching her in her face, and I'm like, you put my fucking wig off, and you don't want to give me my shit? Bitch. And the guys, and 2 guys were trying to pull me off, and I'm still holding on to her wig. And I'm like, why the fuck this shit not coming off? So I'm pulling. I'm walking that hoe like a dog. Like Jocelyn say, walk that hoe like a dog. Walk that hoe like a dog. So I'm walking that hoe like a dog. And these 2 guys is trying to pull me off of her. And as they're pulling me, I'm holding on to her wig for my goddamn life. And I'm pulling her. And they're pulling me, and she's just dragging on the floor like that. So I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, damn, I'm really fucking dragging this bitch. In my head, I'm like, look at you. Like, you really dragging her. Like, her Crocs is over there like this. Her legs is open like this. Her scrub, like she's wearing scrubs at the time. Like, I'm really dragging one of the essential workers. So they're like, miss, take this outside, please. Take this outside, please. So I'm just like, no, she shouldn't have did this to me. She shouldn't have did this to me. So then after I'm pulling her and they're like, please let her go. Please let her go. I'm like, no. Why she pull my wig off? Why she pull my wig off? So I'm like I said, I'm thinking like this shit is not coming off and I'm really dragging her. So I thought back, I was like, damn, she went to that lady uptown that sews down the wigs. So this shit ain't never coming the fuck off. So these niggas is pulling me 2 men and I don't even know how I don't know. I don't know how I had that strength, but with all that adrenaline, baby, girl, I was walking that girl like a hoe. I mean a dog, I'm sorry. And I didn't mean to, because that's not who I am. I mean, it is who I am if I have to defend myself and my loved ones. But I don't like getting like that. But anyway, so they're like, let her go. And she's on the floor like, let her do it. Let her do it. I'm getting my head on them Tuesday anyway. And I'm just like, bitch, you a lying, broke ass hoe. So anyway, let's discard that comment. So anyway, so I finally let her go, or whatever the case is. And I'm like, where my phone? Because my phone is nowhere to be found. The wig that I tucked in my pocket that she pulled off earlier is once again back on the floor. So I picked up my wig and they pulled us off. I was like, you know what? Let me just let her go. So I let her go. The guys let me go. And my wig is on the floor, like I said. My phone is nowhere to be found. So I had on my Apple Watch. My Apple Watch, by the way, the screen protector, this is not the same one that I have. But this is the screen protector for the Apple Watches. I had on a baby blue one that day. And this is a green one, as you can see. So I have different colors, but once I put a color on, it takes me a while to change it. But anyway, so my Apple Watch, the screen is cracking. I'm like, shit, my fucking watch is fucked up. I'm about to go in for round 2. Finish her. But then I was like, nah, I'm bigger than this. So then I realized that it's not my watch screen. It's the fucking screen protector. So I'm like, where my phone? She's like, oh, I'm calling the cops. I'm like, you better call the cops. I'm going to call the cops too. So I'm looking for my phone. I start pinging my phone from my watch. Ping, ping, ping. That shit is sounding like it's nearby. I finally found it on the fucking shelves because when I threw her on the floor, we knocked the shelves that had the chips over, 2 of them. And my phone was on the floor in between 2 other shelves that were there. So I finally grabbed my phone and I went outside and I was like, I ain't even gonna waste my time on calling the cops on this girl, because the amount of time that I'm gonna stand waiting here for them to come and for me to give a statement and all of that bullshit, I don't got time for that. So I got my phone and I went out and I called my friend at the time. Fake ass bitch. But anyway, we're not getting into it. So I called my friend at the time. I was like on FaceTime and I'm like, yo, why the fuck we just fought? She was like, who? You and Linda? I was like, yeah. And I ain't even come up here on that type of time. But that bitch did pull my wig off. And it was like, I blacked out after that. I was like, I don't even fucking remember her hitting me. And now I got a big ass knot here, a big ass knot here. And I didn't even know I was bleeding with all that fucking adrenaline in me. I didn't know I was bleeding. I went outside to make the phone call. And as the phone is ringing, I noticed, I'm like, what the fuck is on my head? Is that sweat? When I wiped it, and I looked at my fingers, it was fucking blood. I was like, I'm fucking bleeding. And as soon as the FaceTime camera pops up, I saw the big ass cut here, the knot, and the big ass knot here. So I'm like, she probably got me here with one of them rings. But this shit is probably from a can, because I don't remember her fucking hand coming to my forehead. So, but then again, I don't remember if I got hit. I remember doing the hitting. Not to sound violent, but like I said, self-defense. So I'm like, why the fuck me and this girl just fucking fought in the fucking deli? She was like, who? You and Linda? I was like, yeah, because she won't give me my shit back. She was like, why? I thought she said she had it. I was like, yeah, because she want to be being like a little bitch and don't want to give me my shit because she thinks somebody is mad over some dumb shit that I don't even care about. Like, when I told this girl I was tapped out, I was tapped out. She been tapped out before me. So why is it a problem that I'm tapped out? So And I'm talking and explaining the story and I'm explaining the fight like how I'm doing right now. And out of nowhere, my chest gets tight and a bitch can't breathe. And I'm just like, wait, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. So my friend on the phone is like, oh, it sounds like you're having a panic attack. And then she's like, oh, what are 5 things that you see around you? What are 3 things that you hear? And what are you wearing? And I was answering those questions and my heart rate started to go down. So I'm like a gangster, mind you. I'm on the phone. Let me not say gangster. I'm on the phone. I don't even know why the fuck I was still there. I'm on the phone outside on the sidewalk on the deli. Cause I'm waiting for her I don't even know why I was waiting for her to come outside. And she dead came outside. She was like, oh yeah, she's wearing a dark blue sweatsuit and a colorful Crocs. And I'm just looking at her like, bitch, you really call the cops? Like, you really got the time of day when your ass gotta go back into work? I didn't know she had to work a double that day and she just came out on lunch. I thought it was the end of her shift. So she said that and whatever. And I was like, oh, whatever, you can call the cops. I'm going to be right here. Then after, when I got off the phone, no, I was still on the phone. When I was still talking to my hand is itching. I'm being distracted. So after my friend calmed me down now, and I'm just like, why the fuck did I even come up here I didn't even, like, why the fuck did I come up here knowing this bitch would have got me, like, upset? And I didn't even mean upset to the point where we got into a physical fight, but I meant upset to where it's like, now I'm irritated. Like, I'm irritated. So I walked back down. I eventually left. I'm like, I don't even know why the fuck I'm waiting here. She know my address. She know where I live. If she really call the cops, she can send them there. I'm going to be home waiting for them. So I walk back down to my house and I start to roll my stuff up so I can go bake. So I went outside to bake. I'm sitting on the park bench because it was cold, but the sun was out. So in the sun, it was feeling okay. So I went and I'm baking on the bench and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I did all of that shit. She did all of that shit. And neither one of us got our shit. And I still got new shit. So what was that for? That's what I was asking myself. I was like, what was that for? Like, you know you're better than this. You know you deserve better than this. At this point, y'all don't even deserve to be friends. Because it seems like when you're calm and collected, she doesn't like that. She likes when I'm rowdy. She even used to tell me this when we were together that, oh, I don't like when you don't argue with me because I don't know what you're feeling. No, because 2 hot heads in a situation doesn't make any sense. And that's why I'm praying for the day that I can get somebody that understand that. So there's no arguing. You know, we might bump heads or whatever the case is. But you and your partner must always be able to talk to each other on a level-headed and find compromise. No one person should be losing their self more than the other. And no one should be even losing themselves, to be honest. So anyway, I'm baking. And I'm on the phone with my friend, my childhood friend from Trinidad. And I'm telling her the story. And she's like, nah, Nyasha, you got to let that go. Like, y'all shouldn't even be friends. Because if somebody claimed that they love you like that, there's no way that they should have to get that reaction out of you. They shouldn't have to make you look like a fool. And if you love yourself enough, you wouldn't make yourself look like a fool over anybody. And it was like, damn, I took that shit to heart. But I put that shit in use. Because I'm like, nah, you're right. And in the middle of this phone call with my friend from Trinidad, my mom is calling me. So I'm like, why the fuck my mom calling me? Why the fuck my mom calling me? So I'm like, I wonder if she know that I just fought this hoe. So I'm like, damn, should I answer? Should I not answer? So I'm like, fuck, let me just answer and act normal. So I'm like, hello? My mom is like, oh, Nyasha, da-da-da-da-da. Why does I just got a call from a police officer saying that you just got into that somebody want to press charges on you or something like that. She said, I can't remember because like when I said that day of my life is closed, red X on it, buried, R.I.P. I was like, probably because I beat Linda's ass and now she mad and she want to press charges. But if she want to press charges, I'm going to press charges right back because at the end of the day, she assaulted me just as much as I assaulted her. And I did not initiate contact. She ripped my personal belongings off and that set me off. So my mom was like, if that's the life you want to live, I told you to leave this girl alone. You can't see that y'all don't belong together. Da 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 da. And click, she hang up the phone. I'm like, I know my mama didn't just hang up this phone on me. So I called her back to ask her who she hanging up the phone on. Like, it's not even that deep. So I know, right? The nerve of me. So she didn't answer because she was on the train on her way to work. So I was just like, that's pathetic. I called my friend back from Trinidad. I called my childhood friend back from Trinidad because we was on FaceTime. And she was like, oh, look at your face. Like, it's somebody that love you. They wouldn't do that to you. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, I don't even know if she did that. Or if the cans and the cans from the refrigerator did that. But I don't know. I was like, but you right, though. So, and that's not even the first time that we fought. I'm going to do another story time on the first time that we fought. But this was the final straw. So we was on the phone call or whatever, and I was like, can you believe she really had somebody pretend, I don't know, whoever she had pretend to call my mother's number? Because when I called her back after my stupid ass, after I left and I was baking, before I called my childhood friend, I called her back. I'm like, oh, can I get my shit back now? And she was on the phone like, yeah, officer, that's her. You want her mother's number? And I'm like a dumbass on the other line, like, yeah, my mom's number is this, that, and the third. What's up? I ain't scared. Because when they come, I'm telling them that I want to do the same. I want to press the same charges that you claiming that you want to press. So I was just like over it. And then I hung up the phone. And then after, a police has never came to my door. No one has ever contacted my mom. And she even texted my mom and sent my mom screenshots telling my mom when I was calling her down for my stuff, telling my mama, oh, tell your daughter to stop calling me. Like, bitch, nobody would be calling you if I had my stuff. But all right. So my mom didn't even answer her back because my mom was like, I don't have time for this. And that was that. Yeah. I didn't block her because I'm like, I am stronger than anything else in this world. I don't need to block you, but you will be deleted on everything. And as a matter of fact, when I was talking to my friend, I was like, she was like, oh, you blocked her? I was like, no, because she's going to do that for her. She's going to do that for us both. And so sad, so fucking done. But all I did was delete my motherfucking contact out of her thing and deleted my pictures. And I got my life on and popping. And I'm doing it like it's my B-day. And I would never go through that with somebody ever again. I would never have nobody have me pulling up to a scene and making me look like a fool. Like, when I could be doing something else, when I could be doing me. And you know, my wig is still in the corner on my wig stand. I've never put that shit back on till this day. Like, I have trauma from my wig. And it's still in the same thing, the same condition. I took pictures of my face with the cuts and pictures of the wig because I was like, just in case you want to be that grimy, I'm going to have protection for myself because you're not going to try to make me seem like the aggressor when in fact you provoked me and you also did the first move. Like, but like I said, that's the end of the story. We don't speak. She blocked me on everything. I don't need to block on everything because she already did the job for us both. I don't have any grudges. That isn't my past. All is forgiven on the end. I would never have her in my life again. I'll speak to you and be cordial, but that's about it. But the old me that you know is no longer existing. So you have to get to know me all over again. And even then, you wouldn't have access to me. And that's not even to be mean. That's just to be real. But with that being said, the only thing I regret is my actions, because the only thing I could have controlled was my actions in that situation. You know, I could have walked away, but instead I stayed and pursued the situation. I don't condone violence. I don't condone putting your hands on your partners. None of that. If that is happening to you, you need to leave the situation ASAP. If it happened once, it will happen twice. There's a cycle. You might not be abused physically, but you might be being abused emotionally and mentally. And in that aspect, I was. And I was gaslighted a lot. But everyone has a breaking point, and enough is enough. So that was enough for me. I took that as my learning lesson to walk away from toxicity and to never let it back into my life on any level, friend level, relationship level, family level, no level, baby, that will not exist. Because when I do look at it, I like having a good time. I like being in good spirits. I don't like that down moment, that sad moment. And I know that exists in life, and it's inevitable. But you know, we can do better with how we cope with it and how we go about stuff and how we handle situations. So I never condone violence, but I always do condone self-defense. And don't be hitting first and saying it was self-defense because they spoke to you some way. Words are wind, just a cool breeze against the face. But that's the end of my story time. Remember to like and comment down below. Let me know if you like some more. And remember to share, like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you guys for watching.